Let me ask you something. Do you really believe money alone is enough to make a woman fall for you? Do you think fancy cars, luxury watches, and $1 million lifestyle are the keys to attracting older women? If that's what you believe, you're about to be shocked. Because here's the harsh truth most men never hear. Older women aren't impressed by your wallet. They're impressed by your mind, your energy, and the way you make them feel. And today, I'm going to reveal 11 hidden, psychological facts about older women that most men ignore. Facts so powerful, so brutally honest that once you understand them, you'll never compete for attention again. This is not the same recycled dating advice you've seen 100 times. This is real psychology, backed by research, experience, and female behavior you've never noticed before. I'll show you why mystery makes you 10x more attractive than good looks ever could. The silent triggers in a woman's brain that make her obsess over you without you chasing her. And the one dangerous mistake men make that instantly kills attraction forever. Listen carefully. Most men will never learn this. They'll keep chasing. They'll keep getting rejected. But you won't. Stay with me until the end, because after watching this video, you'll understand older women in ways 99% of men can't even imagine. Fact 1. Older women radiate magnetic confidence. Imagine this. You walk into a quiet coffee shop in London on a rainy Tuesday morning. You see two women sitting across the room. One is 22, scrolling through Instagram, adjusting her filters, checking her likes. The other, maybe 37 or 38. She's sipping her latte, reading a book, completely unfazed by anyone around her. Guess which one men notice first? 9 out of 10 times. It's the older woman. Why? Because confidence is louder than beauty, the silent power that turns heads. Here's what most men get wrong. They think youth nor attractiveness, but real psychology says otherwise. Older women project a magnetic energy, a calm, grounded, unshakable presence. They've been through heartbreaks, betrayals, failures, and still, they stand tall. This is what psychologists call emotional dominance, the ability to control your emotions instead of being controlled by them. When a woman radiates that energy, men subconsciously see her as high value without even realizing why. A real-life example. In an interview with BBC Lifestyle, a 36-year-old marketing executive from Manchester said, "In my 20s, I was desperate for approval, but by my mid-30s, I stopped caring what people thought, and that's when men started chasing me." She didn't change her makeup. She didn't suddenly look 21 again. She changed her energy. And here's the secret. Men are wired to crave certainty. Confidence signals safety, and nothing is more attractive than a woman who knows her worth. Why younger women can't compete. Younger women often base their self-worth on validation, likes, comments, compliments. Older women? They don't chase attention. They attract it effortlessly. This shift in mindset is psychological gold. When you're detached from external validation, you own your value, and people naturally gravitate towards you. That's why in dating studies from Harvard University, men repeatedly described older women as magnetic, mysterious, and hard to resist. Confidence isn't noisy. It doesn't scream. It whispers and pulls you in. Older women radiate something rare, calm power, and in a world full of noise, that silence is addictive. Fact 2, they value deep emotional connection. Picture this. You're on a late-night walk in New York City with a woman in her mid-30s. The streets are quiet and suddenly she says, "I don't care about fancy dinners or Instagram moments. I just want someone I can actually talk to." That's the mindset shift older women go through. They've lived, loved, and learned. They don't want surface-level relationships anymore. They crave depth, something real. The science behind it. A Stanford University study found that 72% of women over 30 value emotional intimacy more than physical attraction. This means older women aren't impressed by flashy gestures. They want conversations that stimulate their mind and touch their heart. If you can make her feel heard when she speaks, seen for who she is, and understood without judgment, you unlock a level of attraction that younger women don't even know exists yet. The no fake energy rule. Here's the catch, though. Older women can smell dishonesty a mile away. Try acting like someone you're not, and she'll see through it instantly. This is why men who use pickup lines fail. You can't perform with older women. You have to be real. And when you are, that's when the magic happens. Take Sophia, a 34-year-old nurse from Los Angeles. She once said in a relationship podcast, "I used to date guys who tried too hard, but the moment I met someone who just listened, I felt an instant connection." That's the secret. Older women aren't impressed by what you own. They're impressed by how you make them feel. If you want to attract an older woman, forget shallow compliments. Go deep, because depth is her love language. Fact 3. Sexual chemistry hits different. Let's get brutally honest here. Most men underestimate older women sexually, and they couldn't be more wrong. Here's the reality. Older women know themselves, their desires, their bodies, their boundaries. Science proves it. According to the Kinsey Institute, 62% of women aged 32-45 report higher sexual satisfaction than they did in their 20s. Why? Because experience, not awareness. They know what they want. They know how to communicate it, and they're not afraid to ask for it. This confidence creates a different kind of chemistry. Deeper, hotter, more explosive. The bedroom mindset shift. Here's where psychology comes in. Older women view intimacy as exploration, not performance. They don't chase perfection. They chase pleasure and connection. This removes pressure for both partners, making the experience more fulfilling on every level. Real-life example. In a survey from Cosmopolitan UK, a 39-year-old respondent said, "In my 20s, I was self-conscious. By my late 30s, I stopped apologizing for my desires, and honestly, intimacy became way better." This isn't just personal opinion, it's psychological evolution. When an older woman wants you, she doesn't hold back. And that creates a level of passion most men have never experienced before. Fact 4, they don't chase, they attract. Here's the psychological power move. Older women don't chase anyone, and that makes them irresistible. The scarcity effect. Psychologists call this the scarcity effect. When something is rare, your brain automatically values it more. An older woman who knows her worth won't compete for attention. She carries herself like she doesn't need you, and that mystery drives men crazy. Real-life scenario. Imagine you're at a rooftop bar in Chicago. You approach 2 women, one younger, one older. The younger one laughs at every joke, tries hard to impress you, leans in, touches your arm. The older one? She's polite, smiles, but stays mysterious. Guess which one your mind keeps thinking about later? Exactly. The one who didn't try. The high-value mindset. Older women attract attention without chasing it because they have self-respect, boundaries, and a strong sense of identity. This makes them psychologically magnetic. They're the rare gems men don't come across every day. 5. Older women value emotional security over material wealth. Have you ever wondered why some men with big houses in Los Angeles, luxury cars parked outside, and bank accounts overflowing with zeros still get rejected by older women? It's because there's a deep, psychological truth most men ignore. Older women crave emotional security more than financial wealth. In their 20s, many women are curious, adventurous, and sometimes attracted to wealth, status, and excitement. But as they step into their 30s, 40s, and beyond, something shifts dramatically. They've already seen enough heartbreaks, manipulations, and failed promises. Money doesn't impress them anymore, consistency does. For example, think about Sarah, a 38-year-old corporate lawyer from London. She once dated men who drove Ferraris and flew her out to Paris for weekend getaways. But now, when she talks about what she truly wants in a partner, she says, "I don't need someone who can buy me a Chanel bag. I need someone who makes me feel safe emotionally, someone I can trust with my heart." That's the secret right there. Older women want stability over flashiness. Psychologists from the University of Cambridge confirm this through studies. As women age, their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for emotional decision-making, becomes more dominant. They start prioritizing emotional safety over impulsive attractions. So if you're trying to win over an older woman, don't flash your Rolex or brag about your income. Instead, focus on how you make her feel. Are you dependable? Can she trust you with her vulnerabilities? Do you create an environment where she feels safe, respected, and valued? This doesn't mean older women dislike wealth, not at all. But they've learned the hard way that wealth without emotional connection feels empty. Give her security, and you'll stand out from 90% of men competing for her attention. 6. Older women secretly desire mental stimulation. Here's something most men completely misunderstand. About older women, physical attraction isn't enough anymore. Sure, when you're in your 20s, having sharp looks and a great body can grab attention instantly. But as women mature, their brains start prioritizing something far more important: intellectual chemistry. Take Emily, a 42-year-old marketing director in New York. She was once married to a man who looked like a Hollywood actor, tall, athletic, ridiculously handsome. But when you ask her why the marriage ended, she simply says, "We couldn't talk about anything meaningful. I was starving for mental connection." Older women want to be stimulated intellectually. They want deep conversations, thought-provoking ideas, and someone who challenges their perspective. Research from Harvard University shows that dopamine, the pleasure chemical, spikes in women's brains not just during physical intimacy, but also when they're engaged in deep, meaningful conversations. If you want to connect with an older woman, learn how to feed her mind. Talk about books, ideas, and philosophy. Share stories about life lessons and personal growth. Be curious about her experiences and opinions. For example, instead of saying, "You look stunning tonight," try saying, "I've been thinking about something. Why do you think some people chase happiness while others chase meaning?" That single question can spark an hour-long conversation. And trust me, she'll remember how you made her feel mentally alive. In English counties like Surrey, Oxfordshire, and Cambridge, where many highly educated women live, this is especially powerful. A man who can connect intellectually and emotionally instantly separates himself from the crowd of men who rely only on superficial compliments. 7. Confidence without arrogance is magnetic. If there's one trait older women find irresistible, it's confidence. But here's the twist most men don't get: confidence without arrogance. A lot of men think acting alpha means dominating every conversation, showing off and trying to control situations. But older women see right through this. After years of dating and life experience, they can instantly sense fake bravado. What they crave is authentic confidence and quiet strength, not loud ego. Picture this: Rachel, a 41-year-old journalist from Manchester, goes on 2 dates. The first man spends the entire evening talking about his achievements, bragging about his gym sessions, and flaunting his Tesla. The second man, James, is calm, self-assured, and genuinely interested in her thoughts. Who do you think she texts back the next day? James, every time. Authentic confidence comes from knowing who you are and not seeking validation, being comfortable with silence instead of forcing conversations, respecting her opinions while expressing your own, showing leadership without controlling her. Oxford researchers found that 93% of women rate self-confidence as more attractive than looks or wealth. But arrogance is one of the biggest turnoffs. Older women are drawn to men who can stand their ground while making them feel respected and valued. They want a partner, not a dictator. If you can master this balance, you instantly become part of the rare 5% of men who naturally command attention without ever raising their voice. 8. Physical intimacy becomes more emotional. Here's a shocking truth men often ignore. For many older women, physical intimacy becomes less about raw passion and more about deep emotional connection. When women are younger, physical attraction is often driven by novelty and excitement, but as they mature, their desires evolve. It's no longer just about chemistry, and it's about closeness. Take Charlotte, a 39-year-old interior designer from Brighton. She explains it perfectly. "When I was in my 20s, intimacy was all about sparks and butterflies. But now what turns me on is feeling deeply connected to someone. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Science backs this up. A study from King's College, London, shows that oxytocin, the bonding hormone, released during intimacy, has a stronger emotional impact on women over 35. They associate closeness in the bedroom with trust, vulnerability, and safety. For men, this means one thing: slow down. Stop treating intimacy like a performance and start treating it like communication. With older women, these things matter more than flashy moves. Emotional presence, being fully in the moment, eye contact, connecting without words, gentle curiosity, understanding her desires without assumptions. In places like London, Liverpool, and Edinburgh, where dating culture is fast-paced and competitive, this is your ultimate advantage. Most men focus purely on physical techniques. while very few focus on emotional synchronization. And that's exactly what makes you unforgettable to an older woman. 9. Older women appreciate emotional maturity more than physical appearance. Here's a psychological truth men often overlook. When it comes to older women, emotional maturity beats physical appearance every single time. In your 20s, you might get away with looking sharp, wearing the latest designer clothes and posting gym selfies. But as women grow older, they start valuing something far deeper: how you handle life's challenges, communicate feelings, and navigate conflict. Take an example from London. Meet Laura, a 40-year-old architect who has dated both the Instagram model type and the emotionally grounded type. She says, "I once dated a guy who looked like he'd walked out of GQ magazine. Perfect abs, perfect hair, perfect suit. But when it came to handling problems, he fell apart. Then I met Tom, who wasn't as model perfect, but he had emotional depth. He understood me, listened to me, and knew how to handle challenges calmly. That's the man I wanted to be with." Why? Because older women have life experience. They've been through heartbreaks, career struggles, and personal challenges. They don't want to babysit an immature man. They want a partner who can stand strong when life gets messy. Psychologists from King's College, London confirm this. Women over 35 show a higher neurological preference for emotional stability over physical attraction. In simpler terms, a man's emotional intelligence, his ability to manage his own emotions and connect with hers, triggers deeper attraction than just his looks. So how can you demonstrate emotional maturity? Stay calm under pressure. Older women find emotional composure magnetic. Communicate openly. Don't play guessing games. Be honest and direct. Handle disagreements with respect. Arguments should never turn into emotional wars. Be supportive without being controlling. Offer strength, not dominance. Imagine dating in Oxfordshire, where many women are professionals balancing high-pressure careers and personal responsibilities. If you show up as someone who can handle challenges without emotional chaos, you instantly stand out from 90% of men. Remember, older women aren't impressed by six-packs as much as they're impressed by emotional strength. That's the real currency of attraction at this stage of life. 10. Independence makes you more desirable. Here's where most men get it wrong. They believe constant availability and endless attention make them more attractive to older women. The reality? It does the opposite. Older women are highly independent. Many have careers, financial stability, and well-established social lives. They're naturally drawn to men who match their independence, not those who cling to them for validation. Picture this. Hannah, a 39-year-old lawyer in Surrey, dates two men. Mark, who texts her every hour, wants to know where she is, what she's doing, and who she's with, and Ethan, who's focused on his passions, traveling, building his business, and hitting the gym, reaches out thoughtfully, but never desperately. Who do you think she finds more attractive? Ethan, every time. Why? Because independence signals strength. A man who has his own life, passions, and goals demonstrates self-respect. That creates mystery, and mystery creates desire. Studies from the University of Cambridge show that women are biologically wired to value partners who can stand on their own feet. In evolutionary psychology, independence is subconsciously linked to competence, survival, and confidence. To master this, here's what you should focus on. Have your own goals. Build your career, skills, and lifestyle. Maintain your social circle. Older women love men who are socially respected. Value your time. Don't be available 24/7. Scarcity creates demand. Set healthy boundaries. Show her you can care deeply without losing yourself. For example, imagine dating in Cambridge, where women are balancing demanding roles as doctors, professors, or executives. If you constantly chase and overwhelm them, you blend into the crowd. But if you show that you're self-sufficient, ambitious, and purpose-driven, you instantly become the man they want to chase. Older women don't want to be your entire world, they want to be part of your world. When you radiate independence, your value skyrockets. 11. Consistency builds unshakable trust. This is the final and most powerful psychological truth. When it comes to older women, consistency isn't optional, it's everything. Older women have likely been through relationships where promises were broken, boundaries ignored, and trust shattered. So now they deeply crave reliability. They want a man whose actions match his words, every single time. Let's take Sophie, a 42-year-old business consultant from Bristol. She once dated a man who was full of grand gestures, Flowers, expensive dinners, endless compliments. But soon he started disappearing for days, canceling plans and avoiding serious conversations. Sophie describes the experience perfectly. He made me feel like a queen one week and invisible the next. That kind of emotional roller coaster is exhausting. In contrast, when Sophie met Daniel, a grounded, consistent man from Nottingham, everything changed. He wasn't overly flashy or dramatic, but he showed up when he said he would, kept his promises, and created a sense of stability. That's when trust and attraction naturally deepened. Psychological research from the University of Edinburgh backs this up. Consistency activates the reward centers in the female brain, creating feelings of safety and security. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her body naturally produces more oxytocin, the bonding hormone that strengthens long-term attraction. So how do you demonstrate consistency? Keep your promises, small or big. Reliability builds trust. Be emotionally steady and don't let moods swing wildly. Follow through with actions. Words are meaningless without proof. Show up for her emotionally, mentally, and physically. In fast-paced English counties like London, where dating culture can feel chaotic, consistency is a rare superpower. Most men overpromise and underdeliver. If you can reverse that, underpromise and overdeliver, you instantly stand out as the man she can rely on. Attraction might spark instantly, but trust is what sustains it. Older women don't just want chemistry, they want certainty. Be the man who gives them both, and you'll create a connection that lasts. Final words. So now you know the 11 hidden psychological facts about older women. Truths most men ignore, but the ones who understand them completely change their love lives. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.